This course is mostly geared towards Linux. So in this lection, we are going to go around creating an EC2 instance running Linux. It will be the first hands-on for this course. Let's get started. We'll be launching a virtual server, so an EC2 instance, using the AWS console. The AWS console is basically the website. We'll get a very first high-level approach to how you can configure that instance, and you'll see there's a lot of parameters. Don't get overwhelmed. Later down during the course, they will all make sense. And we'll also learn how to stop, and terminate our instances, because it's very crucial in the cloud that you manage how these services are run. So here we go. We're going to get started with Amazon. So I type AWS console in here, and straight ahead, the first link on Google is the one we want. So the Amazon console is basically the website that allows you to manage all your AWS infrastructure. There's a sign into the console button right here, and it's the one we're going to click on. Once you do this, if you don't have a login yet, you should go ahead and do create a new AWS account. And then all of a sudden, it will go ahead and ask you for some details such as email address, password, confirm password, and create an AWS account name. It will also ask you for your credit card details. We'll try to use the free tier as most as possible in this course, but you may spend $10 maybe to run all the labs and the lectures, okay? So once you're done, you can just sign into AWS. So the first thing we'd like to do once we're in the console is choose the region you're in. So I choose US East Ohio, but you can choose any region that's actually quite close to you. So if you're in Asia, choose an Asia Pacific region. If you're in the EU, you can choose whatever, and so on. I just choose this region because I know I haven't done anything in it yet. So choose the region that's the most appropriate for you. It doesn't matter for this course which one you choose. So then we go to EC2. For this, we can do services and compute. The first one is EC2. So that's really the most important service for AWS. So we're in the console. As you can see, this is a whole new region for me. So there's 0 running instances, 0 volume, 0 key pairs. There's literally nothing in this region, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is create an instance. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, there's a lot of options right here, and most of those, if not all, will be described in this course really to steer you and make you understand what's happening with all of those, okay? But as you can see, the first big thing you want to do in EC2 is just launch an instance. That's the big blue button right here. By the way, you can also check the service health. It should be all the time green, but basically anytime there's an issue with AWS, you would be alerted here in this dashboard. All right, so let's go ahead and launch an instance. So remember, what we want to do is create a server in the cloud. Now, what we're going to do is use free servers because there is a free tier account for AWS and some instances are free tier eligible. That's my effort for us to basically save a bit of money and not spend too much for this course. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of different instances that I could choose from. I can choose from Amazon Linux or Amazon Linux 2 or SUSE Linux or Red Hat or Ubuntu or Windows or deep learning. For now, let's just keep it simple. I'll go over these in in-depth lectures, but let's just choose Amazon Linux AMI, the very first one. The next thing to do is to choose an instance type. So instance types is basically how big your instance is going to be. And I have a whole section in this course regarding how to choose the right instance size. As you can see, there are so many of those. There's more than 50 instance types possible. So for now, we'll just use the most simple one, which is going to be free tier eligible, which is a general purpose T2.micro. Okay? It has 1 CPU and 1 gigs of memory, which is enough. We'll next configure the instance details. Okay, do not click on the blue button, just click next. So we'll do one instance, and as you can see, there's an AutoScaling group option, but we won't do it now. And all the network, you should leave it as is. So make sure it's default right here, but the subnet, you have no preference. We can say A, B, and C. Actually, let's just say we want it to be an A. And then subnet setting will enable it. IAM role, you don't need to worry about it right now. Shutdown behavior is stop. And all these things, all these defaults are basically fine for us, okay? But over time with this course, all these options right here will make sense. We click on next, add storage. And as you can see, that's basically the disk that our machine will operate on. This is called the root volume, and it's placed here, and it will be an 8 gigabytes root volume. This is perfect. We'll keep it this way. Next, we add tags. Tags are not necessary right now, so we'll just skip. and we'll configure a security group. And right now, we'll create a new security group, call it my first instance, and we'll leave the default as is with SSH on port 22 and this source that is 0.0.0/0. Okay, we'll see what that means very soon. So when we click review and launch, basically it will show us every option that we've chosen from. And all these options could take hours to describe, and that's what this course is about, but just for now, it's very simple to just get started with a very simple instance. So we look at these settings, they look fine, and then we click on launch. We have a prompt, and the prompt says, would you like to create a key pair or choose an existing key pair? Now, keys are basically something you will use to get into your AWS instance. They're something private that you should never ever share with anyone else, they're for you, okay? And you should back them up. If you lose your key, you may lose access to your AWS instance, okay? So as you can see, I cannot choose an existing key pair because none was found, so I will create a new key pair. And this key pair I will name EC2 Masterclass. Okay? I will make sure to download the key pair, and this file that I just downloaded is mine and it's private. Okay? Never ever share it with someone. Now I create launch instances, and as you can see, the instance is now launching. At the very bottom, I click on view instances, and as we can see, the instance is now pending in state. So it's going to start loading and it's going to boot, and I'll resume the video when it has booted. Okay, so my instance is now running. It has a green button, and we can see there's a lot of stuff that happens right here. We'll get to learn how to read that later, but for now, we've launched a Linux instance. We haven't used it yet. We'll be using it in the next lectures, but it's just launched, okay? That's your very first instance in the cloud. Now you can do a couple things with it. You can just leave it running, or should you want to save costs and stop it, you can do instant state. So with the right click, instant state, stop. Alternatively, you can do click here and do action. Again, instant state, stop. So you have a pretty good thing. You can also reboot it. Okay, reboot it will just restart the machine like a computer, and terminate. So let's first stop it. When you stop your instance, you're not going to get billed for it anymore, okay? Only when your instance is running does AWS charge you money, okay? When your instance is stopped, it's just unused and you won't be billed for the instance, okay? So stopping an instance is very good. For example, say you're working right now on this course and you're done for the day, stop all your instances, okay? Don't pay for the instances that are still running. Otherwise, you're going to just waste money. So stopping instances in the cloud is really good because now you just exactly use what you need for these instances. And that's a core concept of the cloud. Now, you may also want to stop your instance for various reasons. Say there's a bug or you want to just figure things out. Anyways, once the instance is stopped, you can obviously start it. Start it, we'll just restart it, so I won't do it. You see the point. But one thing you may want to do is just say, all right, I'm just tired of this instance. There's enough for me with this instance, so I'm just going to terminate it. So you do right click, instant state, terminate. And what this will do is that it will completely remove the machine. You will lose everything in that machine, okay? So the point of terminating machines is when you don't want to use something anymore, just terminate it. There's no point in stopping something if you're never going to use it ever again. Terminate it. You're not going to get billed for a termination, and for sure it will never be restarted, okay? So terminating instances is very common in the cloud, and that's what makes the cloud so powerful. Within 5 minutes, I can create an instance, stop it, start it, and get rid of it, okay? You only pay for what you use. So right now, you can click yes, terminate. I won't do it, but you should definitely do it and practice, and then recreate again this instance as an exercise, all right? But this is it. We have just launched our first Linux machine in the cloud, and in the next lecture, we'll see how we get onto this machine, okay? All right, see you in the next lecture.